Hello and welcome to the short introduction to Class 5 for Introduction to Philosophy Summer 2024 edition. So, a couple things for paper comments, and the paper is coming up fast because it's only a 6-week semester, so everything is fast. For the comments on the paper, well, I'll go and look if you do a draft, put comments on it, and if you reply back to a comment, Canvas will eventually send me a notification at some point through an email. I think in theory it's supposed to do this every day, but in practice I seem to get them fairly randomly. So if you do put a reply to a comment I put on your paper or a question or something, I don't reply right back, is because I probably haven't seen it. In fact, if I don't reply, I definitely haven't seen it. And so if you do put replies to my comments in the paper, send me a message through Canvas, either with what you would have asked in the comment, or if you have like a lot of stuff in there, just say, hey, I put some comments, I replied to some of the comments in the paper, could you look at them? And that way I'll get that immediately, because the messages come through very quickly. For attendance, still a few people not attending the class virtually. And as I noted before, probably the easiest way to do attendance is take the STARS pre-survey. You just go to the Qualtrics thing here, take a screenshot or copy the text, submit it, and then it's a automatic 5 for 5 for doing that. And again, for attendance, the most important things are, first day you attend to release that financial aid, and hopefully won't use this at all this semester. But if a person gets a failing grade, if they don't attend after the WF date, then they get a WF, which is worse. They definitely don't want an F, and you definitely don't want a WF. In terms of the class content for today, as always, putting them into the announcements. And so the content is the end of the apology. So Socrates talking about why death is nothing to fear, because he's been sentenced to death, I guess spoilers. And then finally, the very end of the apology. Also included here, you can of course look at these anytime, is the video for the paper guide, which goes through, walks you through the paper step by step. So if you have a question like what's the paper on, how to write it, etc., this video will hopefully answer all your questions. And if you have more questions, then let me know, and I'll provide answers to those questions. There's also a short video for questions, particular questions about paper word count and style. In terms of, since it's turned in on Canvas, style is not as big of a deal, but generally a pretty safe approach, if you're wondering, is double space, because you don't have to pay to print it, and it's easier for me to read it and stick comments in there. Also, visible font size, so 12-point normal font is fine. And when uploading the file for this, be sure to use a file type that can be read, because if I can't read it in Canvas, I can't grade it. And the easiest thing to do is, if you have Microsoft Word, it can handle those, or save it as a PDF. Last time I checked, Canvas does not like the Apple word processing, whatever that's called. Can't remember what it's called, but the Apple, the part of the Apple, their version of Office, it doesn't seem to like that. In fact, nothing seems to like that. So if you do have if you're using the Apple word processor, save it as a PDF. Otherwise, I'll just have nothing to look at besides essentially can't read the file. Work is quiz number 4. And again, for the quizzes and all the coursework, you don't have to do them, today in terms of, quiz number 4. Just be sure to complete them before the deadline, the available until dates. And in terms of to see when stuff is, due and deadlining, as I noted before, there's the available until date, and that's the most important one, because that's when it's no longer available on Canvas. As you can see, this is right up to the last second, because I got to turn in grades shortly after that. And more importantly, my contract ends. Not like my entire career at FAMU, but my contract for the summer. Faculty work on typically like a 9-month contract, and we get paid for 9 months. And then if you get a job in the summer, you get a contract just for that time period. And so I don't actually have paid 12 months out of the the year. So good budgeting is important. The due date is when it's due, but again, the critical date is the available until date. And if you ever have any doubts about when things are, just go to the assignment page and you can see all the dates. The Canvas, its syllabus, of course, just shows the due dates for things. So when something becomes, the due date goes past, it will, you'll, if you go back, it'll look like you perhaps, can't get to it or access it. But the important thing to check for the available until dates. And that's when it's available until. So that's the stuff for today. So have a good day, stay safe, and I'll see you in the future with more stuff.